essentially 6 practice days equals 2 weeks of practice for us. So, we got a lot of things done and a lot of things accomplished. Look, there were things after the Purdue game that we needed to get accomplished. One was get some guys back, which we did. Two, we needed to do some things internally with some positions, which I think we've already kind of talked about. And within that, get some continuity, which we did with the 6 practices, and I feel pretty good about that leading into the game. And I think 3, continue to build some continuity with, a fairly young football team. And so practicing for 2 hours, which is a lot in my history of being a head football coach. I don't normally practice 2 hours, but we've gone 2 hours pretty much the last couple of weeks when we practice, and so we've got some great work in. So accomplished a lot. Now we got to go play, and so practicing was one end of that. Now we got to go execute and play a really good Syracuse team. So with that, I'll open up to questions.
What did you decide with the O-line? Is it as it was listed on Tuesday?
Yes. So we'll have on the right side Lombard and Elmer. On the left side, Stanley and Martin. Haggerty will be the center.
Will Haggerty be making the snap calls?
He will have assistance from Nick. Yep. It'll allow him to keep his eye on essentially snapping and execution. Nick will assist in making a lot of calls.
You kind of had that with Nick last year too.
We did.
He made the call. Zach do some of that?
Well, we had some. Look, there's a lot of communication up there. We'll continue to have a lot of communication. Ronnie does a lot of work on both of the calls from the outside in. So we really worked hard on communicating this week as well. So Matt's got his hands full taking care of his own position, so we'll give him a little help with Nick.
Does the last trip to MetLife Stadium seem like a long time ago?
I think you're referring to the Navy game?
I am.
Yeah, well, we're not playing Navy, which was a long afternoon. I knew it would be brought up at some time, and I figured it would come from Pete Sampson, but he's not here. Oh, there he is. Oh, you moved your chair, Pete, so I guess you got a new seat. No, it's for me, it's Syracuse and getting back to New York more so than the horrors of that afternoon.
Coach, through 3 games, how would you evaluate Jalen's move to the inside? How is that going, and how is he progressing there?
I think it's been. I think, first of all, he's suited for the position. There was some. I don't want to say concern, but we wanted to see how that position would fit with him first. And we believe that was a good move for us. There's a lot of learning for him going on. And he has made progress from week to week. There's a long way to go. There's a lot of things going on in that inside position compared to what he did last year. He was playing outside. He wasn't asked to do a whole lot, but contain the football and go run things down. So this has been a real big change for him. I think he's handled it well, and he only wants more. He is an incredible professional as it relates to film study and wanting to be the best he can be at his craft. So he's made great progress, but there's a long way to go.
That's kind of where I was going next. How much has his responsibilities changed with film study and preparation, what you're asking of him to look for in the film room?
I mean, it would be a long conversation about how much he has to learn compared to last year. There's so much. I'll just give you one quick blip of a conversation. He was given an automatic which allows him to make an automatic call, which pretty much fires him, allows him to blitz. But the circumstances, the formation, all these things have to line up, and he's not ready to do that. He doesn't want to do that yet, because he wants to be perfect in everything he does. So he's evolving into that position. We've got great trust that we can give him that button, that he can go take it. He's not ready to grab that button yet, but he's getting there.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, how did Collinsworth and Torrey respond this week?
Collinsworth improved every day, so he'll be able to help us. I think it's going to be more of a limited role, but he definitely feels good. I think he was surprised even how well he felt. I think he got better each and every day, and I would expect him to he's probably going to be in the teens, in terms of snaps. Could top out at 20, but somewhere in that range. And Torrey Hunter really progressed later in the week. I think he might have broke through yesterday when he went up and had to extend up in the air, and he came down on his left side, one-legged, and came up without any ill effects. There has to be that moment where after a knee you stick your foot in the ground and it doesn't give on you, and then you kind of go through that mentally, that you're ready to go after a knee injury. I think yesterday he went up for a ball, and after that catch, it looked like he had kind of broken through that barrier, because he looked pretty good today.
Is Cole Luke clear?
Yes, he is. Yep.
Coach, Hunter made great strides in the summer. You've
Yes.
been high on him. Was that?
Yeah, he's got sure hands, great acceleration, and he's strong. He's got a strong base. He's going to be a really good player. We just got to get him out there and get him going.
Brian, talked to Cody Riggs yesterday. He mentioned he's taken 6 graduate classes, and he talked about how willing you were to work around his schedule. Can you just talk about that? Is that an extra heavy load for somebody taking 6 classes?
Well, this is the first time that we've had somebody in the executive MBA program here at Notre Dame. We wanted to make it work. I wanted to make it work for Cody. He's an exceptional student athlete. First of all, anytime that we can bring in a kid of this caliber and promote a student athlete like this, it's a win-win situation, both for the program, both academically and from a football standpoint. So we wanted to work with him. And then as we got into camp, the faculty embraced the situation and were willing to work with him. So it's a heavy load. He was on my radio show a couple of weeks ago, and we got a chance to spend a little bit more time. And we were just talking about his experience in Florida compared to here, and he doesn't know if he could do it for 4 years here based upon the workload, and it's just academics and football and really nothing else for him. But he's going through a pretty incredible experience right now.
Then he mentioned that in the summertime, he wouldn't go home or go to Chicago or anything. He worked with Kavare learning. Were you aware of that they worked that closely together?
I was, yeah. And really, Kavare kind of, took him under his wing in a sense. And I think, and if you talk to Cody, he would probably tell you one of the things that really stood out to him was how welcoming everybody was. Taking a transfer in, he just felt really comfortable that the team, really embraced him. That I think that stood out to him.
Coach, would you talk about Everett and just, he's been taking care of the ball so well. Probably want him to be aggressive, but at the same time, do you have to hammer that into him at practice to be aggressive, but we still need you to take care of the ball?
Oh, absolutely. I think it's something that all coaches, spend time on. But the bigger concerns we have with him with the football are not necessarily throwing it. He's very careful with the football, very conscientious throwing it. We worry sometimes about how he carries the football. He carries it like he's dribbling a basketball sometimes. It looks a little loose. So I think we spend more of our time on, carrying the football, holding it in the pocket, because he's very conscientious. He'll turn down some throws at times that we wish that he would fit it into some tighter windows. I think it's just in who he is that he's very conscious about the turnovers and taking care of the football. But we spend a lot more time on handling the football in the pocket and when he's out running the football and putting the ball away.
And getting the running game going a little bit more, that should help him to maybe not have to run as much.
Yeah, but we want him involved in the running game. I think it's important that he's part of our running game as well. I think it's, when you look at the running game that is part of this offense, it's really not putting him in high collision hits. You don't want to be running, plays where he's going to be in a high contact situation. Spread the field, one-on-one tackles. Those I have no problem with running him, 15 times if we can get those kinds of situations. But, if it's a loaded box situation and there's high contact, I'm less likely to put him in those kinds of situations. I'd rather have him just throw the football.
Brian, is the timeline the same from 2 days ago with the 5 suspended guys that you?
Yeah, I think in talking to a couple of the players, I think they have scheduled hearings next Tuesday and Wednesday.
And with that, regardless of the outcome, have you thought about integrating them into meetings and doing more stuff in case they are clear and ready for Stanford next week?
I did think about it, but we're right there now, so we'll let the process complete itself before we do anything.
Is that all 5 or just in terms of hearings Tuesday, Wednesday?
I believe it is. I don't have confirmation on all 5, but I know that from what I hear, it's firsthand. I know Tuesday and Wednesday. I'm hearing secondhand that they're trying to get them all wrapped up by Thursday of next week.
Brian, just to follow on that, just because you're the only person that seems to be able to comment on it, is it your understanding they're all going in front of the same committee?
I'm not really certain of that. I've heard a committee. I know that committee is comprised of faculty and students. I don't know the ratio, and I don't know if it is the same committee hearing all 5. I don't know the specifics, nor have I, quite frankly, asked.
Brian, thoughts on the A&M series that was announced today?
I'll be sipping a Mai Tai on the beach somewhere, watching that game. Yeah, Al, we're going to get this thing going, this GT. That's going to pay for the cruise. Yeah, it's going to be great. Jack will be here, though. You talk to Jack. He'll be here.
I just wanted to ask you, I know that you won't have time to go there during this trip, but the relationship you have with the Breezy Point folks, do you hear from them? Do you think about them?
Oh, yeah.
Because I know that they think about what you do.
Yeah, we were there. We were there when we went to the Pinstripe Bowl. We went back to the Catholic Club, and we were there for the ribbon cutting ceremony. And we were really moved, my wife and I, when we went to Breezy Point and saw, obviously, the damage that was done in the community, and then where could we help? And certainly the Catholic Club, which was such a gathering place for everybody in that community, that was where we thought we could help them. It's what brings a community together is where they can gather and come together, and to have a spot where they come together during a very difficult time in their lives and rebuilding. We thought the Catholic Club was a great way to do that. Confirmations are held there. Obviously wedding receptions, but more importantly, that's the Notre Dame watch party right there too. So it all came together for us as something that we wanted to help in that community. Our foundation is, in a sense, we feel like we're first responders, and we felt that at that time that this would be a great way as a foundation to help Not that we're anywhere in the same classification as true first responders, but this was a way we could help.
Coach, you talked about during camp about, you know, every team's different. It takes some time to really get to know about your team. Did having a bye week place where it was kind of help you learn more about your team, or did you already figure it out before that point in time, and the bye week allowed you to say, okay, this is who we are, let's now go in this direction?
That's a good question. I think we found out a little bit more about our football strengths and weaknesses. So I think that we addressed some of what we felt were some apparent weaknesses as we move forward, and that we're going to play to some of our strengths. And so I think that that time out, if you will, allowed us to look at our team and say, all right, here's where we are, and here are some of what we see as our strengths and weaknesses as a football team, because we are who we are. We're a fairly young football team. We're going to be inexperienced in certain areas. That's not going to change that much. We'll play more football. We're going to get better, but in the short term, here are our strengths and weaknesses, and let's go to work on that. And I think that's what we tried to accomplish in the bye week.
And does having a bye week this early help, considering how young your team is?
Well, in this instance, it did. In this instance, it did. I think if you have a team that, you know, maybe next year where we have 19 seniors or 21 seniors, you know, you start off, well, you probably want to just roll, you know, keep playing. So I think each year, this is 24 years for me, every year brings a different group and a different set of personalities and a different, you know, group of strengths and weaknesses. I think this year it happened at the right time.